Right, here we are with the last animation we made, and that was hide underground, if you remember. And to move on to the next action and to keep this one stored, we're going to just press the plus button here in the action editor, and we're going to rename that to walk because we'll be making a walk today, and enter and press the F button. We won't be deleting these, we'll just be changing them. So to get her back into the default pose, we'll press A for all in the main window and Alt R to unrotate her, and Alt G to ungrab her. Now before we do anything more, select the cog and press I, available. Available is all you need because it's already been keyframed before. Right, so now we can start posing her. So we're going to bend the arms down and make them look natural and relax her a bit as well. Turn her to the side, shake her head a bit. Bend the elbows a little. We've still got these spread hands. Well, they've come back, so I'm going to fix that now. So if you remember, object, down the bottom, expressions, the top one is hands. I'll change that to relaxed. Right, so now we're going to be using something called inverse kinematics. In the Avastar tab, expand rig display and IK legs, and also tick this square here. It doesn't look like a tick box, but it is, so tick that, and now you see that there are foot shapes. And what this does is it plants the feet on the ground if you wanted to move the cog down like that. And it also can drive the rest of the leg bones. So if you selected the actual IK and moved that, it moves the whole leg around. And that's what we'll be using for our walk. So the main difference is, or the difference is, that the green bones are forward kinematics, where the parent bone drives the child bones, and the IK bones are inverse kinematics, where the child bone drives the parent bones. So while the IK legs are activated, you will not be able to use the forward kinematics bones. So if you try and rotate them, nothing happens. I'm going to start off by putting her into a stride position, which will be the first frame. So my cursor is on frame 0. I have my frames a second set to 24, so I reckon 2 steps a second. So I'll select one of the IKs and I'll start posing her like that, and the other, always returning to pressing numpad 3 to return to the side before you move it, otherwise you're going to get diagonal movements. And when she's in stride position, she would be at her lowest point, so you could lower down the cog. Oops. You need to select both the feet as well to lower her down. And pose the arms opposite to the legs, so this one will be back and this one will be forward. Actually, I'm just going to move the collar instead of the shoulder. See what difference that makes. I think that looks quite natural, so the other collar, turn it back to the side and move it forward, or rotate it back so the arm moves forward. And now we're going to select all with A and keyframe I available. Did that not select all? That's it. I available. Actually, we'll close these two panels. We don't need them anymore. So T and N gives us more space. Now we need to give these feet an initial keyframe because we notice that it hasn't been done yet. And if you don't do that, then it won't show up in the animation. So we'll select each one and press I, lock rot. That's location and rotation. They now show up here, and from now on we'll be able to use I available as the keyframing set. Now we'll copy this frame to frame 24. 24 frames a second, 2 steps a second. So if we copy all of these by pressing A, and then right click the top one where it says Joe's Dope Sheet Summary to make sure that all are selected, and Shift D and drag it to frame 24. Sometimes it's easier to see down here, which is near enough 24, than it is up here. But that's about right. So we've got on frame 0 this pose, and on frame 24 this pose, and we need an opposite pose in the middle. So we're going to select frame 12. You see the 12 here. And with all bones selected, we're going to copy here, or this copy icon, and paste mirrored here. And let's hope it works. Oh, copy first. Now paste mirrored. There the bones flicked around. So I and available. And now we'll play the animation and see how it looks. Very slidey, very silly. And that's because we've got no passing pose, and neither is the cog rising up as she steps up and forward. So we'll stop that now, and we're going to add in some passing poses. So again, put your cursor in between, so frame 6. So that leg was forward. It's coming forward and down, and the other one is stepping up. So grab the back foot here and make it step up. And this one, Alt G and Alt R to step down. So we just need to keyframe these two. So I available. And we're going to do the opposite. copy here. Now move to frame 18 and paste mirrored and eye available. When she's doing this passing pose, the cog will be slightly risen. Like that. Well, you've got to be careful, because sometimes if this is too straight, you get a jerk. But we'll see how it looks. So we're going to keyframe that, eye available, copy that, go back to frame 12, paste that, normal paste, not paste mirrored, eye available, and we'll see how that looks now. Loads better. Right, looking at it walking from the front, I would like to see some swivelling of the hips and chest. So we can add that now. So when the knee's at its highest point, I think that is when the pelvis would rise up on that side. So rotate it very slightly, not too much. Press I, available, copy button, move to frame 18, which is the opposite side, and paste mirrored. I, available. Right, so we'll just check that. Still not enough. So we're going to also slightly rotate it, and then we're going to counter rotate the chest. So looking from above, we're going to rotate it anti-clockwise, just a bit, so the bottom is at that angle, and press I, available, copy, move to frame 18, paste mirrored, I, available, we'll see how that looks before we do the chest. Doesn't look any different from the front, but it does from the back. A man would be maybe less than that. Right, so in that position, with the pelvis rotated that far round, kind of match that in the opposite way with the chest. Select the chest, look in top view, and rotate it clockwise a tiny amount. Available, copy, paste mirrored, I, available, and let's see now. Something's not right. I think that maybe the head also needs counter rotation to maintain it looking directly ahead rather than moving with the chest. So we'll do that. So it looks forward there, so we'll try and get it to look forward here too. So take the head bone, RZ, and try and get the Z-axis line lined up with the nose. So I, available, copy, frame 18, paste mirrored, I, available. Now we'll play. That's better. Now you can carry on tweaking it. And we'll just check it slowly, frame by frame, see what's happening. Now that wouldn't happen. You would not have both feet up off the ground like that. So we're going to, that leg's coming down, so we're going to make it touch the floor at that point. So I'm going to grab the IK. Maybe put it there. Label. Copy that. See when it happens on the other side, it's just past here. So paste mirrored. Available. Why is it not sticking? Aha, that mirrored foot wasn't selected, so it didn't take the keyframe. I paused the video to tweak it some more, and I've added some floppy hands. And how I've done that is I introduced a very slight delay just after it's back at its furthest point and forward at its furthest point. I tilted this hand up and that hand back. And again here. Up and back. And then I returned it to normal there. And here. You can see it more easily if I slow the animation down, and the way I do that is to select all the frames at once, put my cursor on the beginning and press S and move the mouse, and I'll scale it to 35 for now so you can see. I'll play the animation. It's much slower. Oh, I haven't adjusted the timeline. Now if I zoom in on the hands, you should be able to see. Okay, now what? I'll undo the scaling. Right, play the animation again, and you'll see a very slight stop, 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 stop. Okay, so we can fix that, and that's because the first and the last frame have been duplicated. All we have to do is lessen the length of the animation by 1. So instead of the end being 24, we'll make it 23. Now when we play it, it's nice and smooth. I think it's ready to export. So we'll come over here to the animation exporter, set priority. Now for a female it would be 4, for a male it would only be 1, and that would be explained on the wiki that the default priority for a male is 0, and because of the hips the female is 3. And I've included the wiki link in the accompanying notes so you can look this up. So we want loop animation, in 0, out 23. We don't want armature scale, and we don't want bone translation because we're not sticking our tongue out or anything. Export walk. And go to the beta grid. Upload, so build upload animation. Where did I put it? It might look strange on her because she's got high heels, but we'll see. Not wonderful. I'm sure you can do better. And that's it. In the next session we'll be looking at automatic recording.